The gem.
Hello, my fellow fantasy entrepreneurship enthusiast. This is Free Falcon. We're going to be doing a requested video this morning. I had a request to do a video on where to spend your gems inside the shop. So we're going to go over most of the major areas to drop gems and a few tips and tricks for each of those items. So we're going to go ahead and start with the shop itself. So the main area, and this is probably my first one to suggest dropping your gems, is probably not real early game because you'll get access to these very quickly. But you can see that I need to get to level 90 to unlock this next one. From 81, that is a very, very, very long time. That is probably months and months of gaming very consistently to get there. I mean, maybe even a year, to be honest. I mean, you have to put in a lot of time to get there. So this just probably isn't viable. So for me to get to this next slot, I'm going to have to invest these gems. And I think this is probably your biggest bang for buck, just getting a whole nother crafting slot available to move forward. And there's no real tip or trick for that. You just have to throw down the gems. But I think the trade-off is absolutely worth it, and you will get a lot of benefit out of it. So I think that is definitely the right path to go down. My next item that I would suggest in sequence of importance would be to expand out your shop sizes here. As you can see, for this next slot, I literally have to be maxed out at 99, and that's a lot of gold. So 6 gems, this is probably your biggest bang for buck of value that you're going to get. So this is what I'm currently spending my gems on. I'm going to get my shop expanded out to its max, and then probably switch over to getting this done. And right now I'm mostly focusing in on getting my energy high enough that I can surcharge a T14 without having to spend the stuff. So I'm still about 200 away. So I think one more of the shop pieces would actually get me there maxed out. I'm actually even considering dropping one of the bins to expand out and get that, just so I can start getting my energy high enough that I can surcharge the T14s without spending the items to get those reductions of surcharge from the workers, which, I mean, I think is definitely something to look at, and if you can do, is a big benefit. But I think right now my blueprints are just at such a premium. I'm trying to get all of my stuff unlocked. It's just not worth it. The next item inside of your shop to drop gems on is actually upgrading your stuff. So you can see that you can instantly complete any of your shop upgrades here, and then you can bounce up. But for me, I think spending 1,100 gems to get 9 energy when we're at this amount of energy is probably not the most competent way of spending it. But if you do have your heart set on using your gems to speed up your production of this, I would highly suggest doing this trick here, which is once you get this queued, so queue up the item you want, go ahead and put in your request for your guild. That way someone can come through and they can speed up your stuff. Once it is sped up, the gem amount drops pretty rapidly. I did this once I figured out how energy worked, because when I initially played, I went all in on the bins and only had a few of these. I did not realize that the energy scaled up. Your surcharges scaled off of the missing energy here. So as long as I had enough energy to surcharge whatever was the highest, I didn't really care about the rest of it. But then I found out that the missing energy is a percentage, and I went all in and upgraded those. So outside of that, another place to look is you're going to have these daily offers, and some of these are going to be increasing, will be to upgrade your shops. So you do have these that are upgrading the items, and I just say hands down, they're just never worth it. You are not going to spend 360 gems to get an epic piece of gear in the marketplace. So before you do this, absolutely without like a hesitation, just go to the market and look. You're probably going to find a better option. You can buy gems inside of the shop here, and you can also buy them in the web store, which I believe right now is actually at a discount. So I think you can go in there and buy gems for less than you can in the in-game store. So do keep that in mind if you are hell-bent on spending real money inside the game and you're going to invest in gems to do that. I would suggest if you are doing it to wait for an event. The gems are sold in some of these events and they are at a premium. So you can get 150 gems for $4 and you're getting other stuff. If you look, so you definitely do get more gems straight up buying, but I think this one is probably not the best of examples because I don't think the XP boosters just aren't that worthy. The coins are nice. That would put me up over the next one, but it's just not quite worth it. But some of these actually turn out to be pretty decent, but I don't favor spending real money. I do keep my rural merchant up, and occasionally I will, whenever I'm feeling froggy, I might purchase some of these mega packs or something like that. But I try not to spend real money inside the game very often. So you can spend gems to speed up your quest. This, in my opinion, is also not suggested. You can also spend gems to do your investing, but I also don't think this is the best course of going. So, I mean, I think you could spend 270 gems buying up and reselling inside the market and end up with way, 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 way more gold than 90 million. So this is also just not a suggested method to do so. All right. So the next one is if you come in here to the characters, you can spend gems to speed up here. This is also, I think, just a big waste of gems. The stamina drinks and feathers are just so readily available. And also, I mean, just being patient. I mean, if I could get, if I could just throw this dude in for 2 hours and get 7 gems, that's just what I would be doing. I mean, if I could just throw all these people into like a bin and they passively collect gems at that rate, that is just hands down what I would do. All right. So next you can unlock more hero slots. So this is 2250 to unlock where I'm at. So I would still need 3 more levels. So this would be one that I would consider dropping gems into if I just really wanted to go that route. If I am going heavy on the questing talent tree, I think this might be one that I do. Now, I think probably the most controversial opinion that I'll have is inside the actual shop itself. I am not a fan of spending gems on items, hardly at all. If I can get away with it, I just don't. And my reasoning behind this is the best in class slot stuff rotates so quickly that I feel like it's just a big waste. I think you'll long term just get so much more benefit dropping it into the shops than you will from actually buying the items. And I think there's going to be people that argue quite the contrary. And I think they do have some validity. So having those high levels, you could be completing these quests way easier, way faster. And if you have the stuff dropped into the quest lines here where you're getting so much more benefit, I think there's some argument that maybe if you're playing heavy on that strategy, that, it could be more beneficial long run even to drop the gems. But I think for the most part, most of your content can be completed even with green level stuff. If you have the right skills and you're rerolling your characters, which is something that I desperately need to do. But it does take so much time. And the last time I did it, I ended up spending 4 to 6 hours just getting one character where they needed to be, which is still not even optimal. And it took a lot of time and energy of getting up the re-rolling and spending all of that gold. So I had to save up a bunch of gold to re-roll a high level character a whole bunch of time, and then eventually ended up burning through just a countless amount of dice, and I mean just hours of gameplay. And I just kind of left out feeling drained and just unhappy with the results, and then having to cull through the market and prep up and do all of that. I mean, I do think it's absolutely worth it, but to me, it's just not an aspect of the game that I enjoy as much as optimizing the actual shop. And then I always feel like, I spent all of this time, and then, in a month or two, that's not even going to be the most optimal thing that you can have. It's going to change. So I just try to get my stuff to where it can push through content and then move on. But there are definitely people that are going to highly disagree with me. And they probably have somewhat of a point of, being able to push through these, even if you can use less people and just keep a more constant rotation of people, that it's worth it. But, to each their own. One of the other major areas to drop some gems is on the chest. So you can see that we have our keys here to unlock all these chests, or we can use straight up gems to do so, and we don't have to use a key. And there is an additional benefit to doing this, which is whenever you spend gems to unlock, you get one extra guaranteed rare exclusive. So that means you're going to get coins, shards, scrolls, or the exclusive, right? And so, especially for some of these that are a little trickier to get. So I've been missing these 3, and I've just opened a whole bunch of these, but I can't seem to get this last bow or the detailed ones. And it just kind of gets going through, and it gets kind of annoying when you're trying to get that last one unlocked. Like here, I'm missing quite a few. Those were all ones that popped up while I had stopped playing for quite a while. See, like I would love to get this one. So if I'm going to start dropping gems, I would probably drop it on this one, because the chance that I'll get one of my missing ones are a lot higher. But I don't think it's the most optimal. So my overarching suggestion is to get your shop 100% before you start looking elsewhere on your gem spending. If you can spend a few gems and greatly increase your combat effectiveness with your heroes, then by all means do that. That would probably have one of the bigger impacts. I mean, if you can drop 4 to 5 gems and just make the content that much easier to be pushing through, by all means do that. But I think where it comes in is where you end up dropping a whole lot of gems is when you start getting into your enchantments. Because once you get into, let's say, your purple even. So, I mean, you're looking at 15, 30. So right now, best case scenario, if you're running blue, is 31 gems for a purple. Let's say that you're running heavy on your divine enchantments. I mean, it's 54 per one. So if you're needing to equip out, 6 purple items on one hero, that's 300 gems just on the purples, not to mention whatever you're needing to do. So, I mean, let's say that you needed to do, you're wanting to run Krakens. I mean, that's 108 per one. So times 6, I mean, you're looking at 648 gems to just enchant, and it's not to include the actual items itself. I mean, you could be dropping 10, 15, on that, and that's just on purple. But if you get into, let's see, the legendary ones, I mean, they just get really gross then. So, I mean, you could be dropping 400 gems on a single enchantment, so let's say that you needed to run, here and here. That's just going to be a whole lot. That's almost 400 gem. I mean, almost, that's like 800, over 800 per item times 6. I mean, you're looking at 4,000 just on the gems for that. Now, you don't have to be going those more expensive routes. You could be looking down here. So I think this Christmas one is kind of the most budget one I see here right now. So plus 20% health and 4% overall health. So, or plus 20 health and plus 4% overall health. So, not the worst. Then you got your Hydras. But I think your highest Q ones are always going to be up here. And I don't think even all of them are always available. There's, some of these aren't even available right now. So when they pop on, they're going to be like up here. They're going to be like 400, 500, 600 because they're getting cycled through so quickly. So that's just a way that you're just going to get bombarded with, a whole bunch of, having to spend money. So let's see. Let's actually go back. Let's look at the offers. I mean, let's say that you're just needing a standard T14 legendary item. So you're looking at starting at 185 and then moving on up into, even thousands per items. So, I mean, this would get you into probably a more optimal performance range, but I just don't think it's quite worth it. I would suggest going in and just doing your green or maybe blue items. Let's see, did we select for you? We selected 14. So yeah, spending gold is just kind of preferable. So I mean, you can come in, this has got an infinity. You'll get pretty good stats off of this stuff here. And this is going to help you. And you'll even be able to get into some of the blue items. You're still going to have to drop gems to enchant your blue ones. You'll probably be able to buy your T12 green enchantments with gold. So not all of them will always be available with gold, but enough of them that you could reliably count on doing this, and that you can get through most of your content. I think applying those strategically. The biggest thing is just getting your characters where they need to be. Yeah, that is my overarching guide of where to drop your gems inside of your game. So just a quick recap. Shop first, probably your characters next, and then lastly dropping them inside for the secondary things that you need to do. And there's a few places you just don't want to drop them at all, which is inside the shop to upgrade and a few other places. But I think if you use a little bit of common sense and just apply them in the right place, you can get your gems to go a long way. I do have a guide on how to quickly gather gems. If just check out my channel and you'll be able to locate it, and that'll get you a long ways in towards getting where you need to be with your shop. And I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. It does have a big impact on the channel. Thank you. Something I do want to throw into consideration here is that in the online shop, I do think that you do get an additional bonus here. But also, your first time you spend money in it, you do get an additional 200 gems. So if you do have your heart set on spending real life money, it would probably behoove you to come in and do it in the online store, at least for the first time. So I think you could end up spending, let's see, you could spend $2 and get almost 500 gems. So not too shabby. I would say you probably get, overall your best benefit. If you wanted to go ham, that's 108,000 gems. That would go a long ways towards finishing out everything in your shop. But I am definitely not at the point where I think I would want to do that. All right, thank you.